Welcome to Soul Growth Stories, where we explore the hidden depths of human character through tales of struggle and profound transformation. Meet Darrow, a young man of 20 with eyes full of fire and a heart burning with an intense ambition. He dreamed of wealth and fame, believing that speed was the only vehicle capable of carrying him to his destination. His workshop was a chaotic storm of dust and motion, filled with the constant whirring sound of the potter's wheel. Darrow believed that making 100 pots a day was superior to crafting a single masterpiece over a long week. His hands moved with a frantic energy, shaping the wet clay rapidly without giving it a moment to truly breathe. He ignored the ancient rules of the craft, skipping the drying times that allowed the clay to settle and strengthen. To him, patience was an outdated concept for the old and slow,
Honestly,
not
these
for a
traditional
young man
methods are
chasing
completely
rapid
obsolete.
success. He
There are
loaded the
much
kiln to
faster
its
ways to do
absolute
this.
limit, stacking raw pots on top of each other in a precarious pile. The fire roared with intensity, but the heat was too sudden for the moisture still trapped deep within the clay. He could not wait for the natural cooling process, and decided to open the kiln doors much earlier than recommended. A blast of hot air rushed out, meeting the cool night breeze, creating a thermal shock that proved to be fatal. The sound of popping and cracking filled the air as his creations shattered under the pressure of his reckless haste. He stared at the pile of broken dreams, unable to understand why his hard work had resulted in such total destruction. Instead of reflecting on his methods, he blamed the clay, the fire, and even the weather for his unfortunate failure. He took the few surviving pots to the market, hoping to salvage some profit, but the customers were not impressed.
These are unique pieces,
People
sir.
could see the
flawed.
lack of care in the
Madam,
finish,
look at
the
this glaze.
uneven
I'm
shapes,
sorry,
and the
it is
hidden
not what I'm
weakness in
looking
the
for.
structure.
There's a
He sat
hairline
alone
fracture right here.
as the sun began to set, watching
Gosh,
others
you're
sell their
right.
goods,
I am so
while his
sorry about
pockets
that.
remained empty and silent. Whispers of mockery reached his ears, stinging his pride more than the loss of money ever could have done.
Look at that
Overwhelmed
vase.
by
It looks like a
frustration,
melted
he
boot.
destroyed his own work,
And
convinced
this
that the
bowl. Who
world
would
was
buy
simply
this?
unfair to a genius like him. He returned home under the cover of darkness, his spirit broken, passing by the warm glow of his father's studio. He stopped to watch his father, an old master who was working on just one single piece with absolute concentration. The old man moved with a slowness that used to annoy Darrow, but tonight it looked like a graceful, silent dance. Darrow stepped inside, staying in the shadows, witnessing the stark contrast between his frantic chaos and his father's serene calm. His father did not scold him for the failure, but simply smiled and invited him to sit by the wheel. He pointed to 3 simple
Darrow.
vases on the shelf,
Come,
which
sit
stood
down.
in stark contrast to the hundreds Darrow had destroyed.
Look at how they
He
glow.
explained that he had spent the entire
glaze
week
is
making just these
absolutely
3,
flawless.
giving them the time they needed to grow.
Look at
The
me,
clay
son.
has a spirit,
Whatever
he whispered,
happens, we'll face
and
it
you must
together.
listen to it rather than forcing your
You
will
have the
upon
strength
it.
for this.
Darrow looked at his own trembling hands and realized that his rush was not strength, but a symptom of inner fear. He finally understood that patience is not weakness, but a powerful form of self-control that dictates the quality of life. The next morning, Darrow began to clean his workshop, clearing away the physical and mental clutter that had blocked his path. He started again with a fresh piece of clay, treating it with a newfound respect, kneading it thoroughly and slowly. He learned to listen to the texture, feeling the moisture and density, adjusting his pressure to match the clay's needs. When he felt the urge to rush, he stopped, took a breath, and reminded himself that quality is born in stillness. He allowed the pots to dry naturally in the shade, protecting them from the harsh sun and the sudden drafts. He checked each piece daily, waiting for that specific moment when the clay was perfectly ready to face the fire. Loading the kiln became a ritual of precision, ensuring that every vessel had its own space to expand and transform. He sat by the fire through the long night, not with anxiety, but with the quiet confidence of a true craftsman. When the firing was done, he waited even longer,
allowing the kiln to cool down slowly to protect the fragile contents. The moment he opened the door, he was greeted not by the sound of cracks, but by the silence of perfection. He held the vase up to the light, marveling at how the patience he invested had crystallized into something truly beautiful. The annual Harvest Festival arrived, and artisans from all over the region gathered to display their finest works to the judges. Darrow arrived, not with a cart full of goods, but with just 5 exquisite pieces that he had poured his soul into. The crowd stopped and stared, captivated by the depth of the glaze and the perfect harmony of the pottery's shape. The judges examined his work closely, unable to find a single flaw in the craftsmanship or the finish of the clay. He looked up to see his father standing in the crowd, beaming with pride, acknowledging that the lesson had been learned. Darrow was awarded the highest honor of the festival, proving that true value comes from dedication, not from mindless speed. He sold his few pieces for more than he would have made from 1,000 cheap pots,
It is everything I have
validating his new philosophy. That evening, sitting with his father, Darrow realized that the greatest reward was not the money, but the peace within. He understood that patience is like a tree. It grows slowly, but its roots go deep, allowing it to weather any storm. He began to share his knowledge, teaching others that patience is not about doing nothing, but about doing the right thing. Darrow was no longer just a boy chasing gold. He had become a master of his craft and a master of himself. His work stood the test of time, reminding everyone who saw it that quality is the only legacy worth leaving behind. In a world that is obsessed with speed, choosing to go slow is a revolutionary act of courage and profound wisdom. Remember that success does not need to be loud. The results of your patience will speak louder than any words could. Embrace the process, trust the timing of your life, and never sacrifice the integrity of your soul for a quick win. Whatever you are building in your life right now, give it the time it needs to become strong, beautiful, and lasting. Let your life be a masterpiece of patience, crafted with love, discipline, and the quiet belief that good things take time. Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery. We hope Darrow's story inspires you to slow down and grow. This is Soul Growth Stories. If this story touched your heart, please share it and subscribe for more tales of wisdom.